Hello, everyone. Welcome to my first episode of Morning Cuppa with Shannon. I'm going to sit down and have a cuppa and talk to you guys just about some thoughts that I have and feelings and different things. If you're interested, you can have a listen. I'm just going to talk about things occurring in the world, personal stuff, just different experiences, learning, growing, all that kind of stuff as I journey through life. This is episode 1, and I firstly just wanted to talk to you guys about what I've been doing the last couple of years, because I have my channel, Wise Healer, it's called, and I haven't been very active on that channel for quite some time now, and that is because I've just been so busy studying naturopathy. So I'm studying a degree in natural health right now to be a naturopath, and I'm loving everything that I'm learning about. Absolutely love all of it. Every single bit of it is just really amazing. It's really helped me. It's helping me on my own health journey as well, because I do have some health problems that I've been dealing with, as do most people actually, because there actually isn't anyone in the world that's actually in perfect health. That's not a thing. There's not one human being on this planet that is in perfect health. To my knowledge, or to anyone else's knowledge, to my lecturer's knowledge, to anyone's knowledge that I've ever met. So everyone has to deal with health problems in some sort of way. So I started kind of researching different things about health now since probably 2010-ish. And a lot of it stemmed from some of my children's health issues that they had as babies and toddlers. It stemmed from, going to an allopathic doctor and not getting the answers, not getting the help. Because oftentimes you will go to an allopathic doctor and they'll say, oh, that's normal. And so it's not normal. I can tell you that right now. It's not normal. If you go to a doctor with a health problem, and it's not normal what your experience, it's a change that you have in your body, and they come back and say, oh, that's normal. Oftentimes allopathic doctors will confuse normal with often. So when things start to happen often in society, with women, for instance, polycystic ovarian syndrome, and then a woman goes in to the doctor and says, I've got polycystic ovarian syndrome, for instance, and the doctor comes back and says, that's normal for your age, or this and that. It isn't. It's not normal. It's common, but it's not normal. And so I had this real passion in the beginning when I first started studying, of wanting to actually know what humans were meant to eat, because there was all this different confusing, there's all this contradictory information out there, and everyone wants to claim that they have the right diet or the right way that humans should be eating. And when some people start to believe that that's the only way to eat. And there's really several different ways that we can eat and stay healthy. Some people do carnivore and think that's it. That's the cure-all, and that's the cure-all. But then you see someone who's been doing carnivore for a year and then they suffer a stroke in the hospital. And then you have vegans who are like, oh, vegan's the best way to eat. And then some vegans don't eat very healthy. They'll still eat crackers and white bread. And people will say, oh, I tried vegan, but It didn't work. Well, did you try it properly? Or did you eat chips and pasta and crackers and, packaged food? um, is that why it didn't work? Or it's probably, if it didn't work, it's because you didn't get enough nutrients into your body. And what all of these diets come down to, that people be like, oh, paleo's the way, keto's the way, or this and that. What it comes down to is nutrients. It's getting enough nutrients that your body needs to function properly. It's about getting enough nutrients for your hormones to work properly, for all the processes in your entire body to work properly. They need nutrients. And if you're going from a way of eating that has not enough nutrients in your body that you're getting from the food, and switching to a strict diet like keto or paleo, and it's like a massive improvement, and you're receiving a lot more nutrients in your diet than your previous diet that you were on, then of course it's going to make you feel better. Of course it is. But nobody on the planet, in my opinion, in the opinion of most educated people who study biomedical science or, nutritional biochemistry, which I've been studying, will tell you that nobody has perfect health. However, we can all strive for perfect health and do things to improve our own health. And I definitely have health problems, and my health problems have stemmed from years, and have had a buildup due to lots of different things, stress being one of them, that has really depleted my adrenals. And I have learned so much in studying naturopathy, and I'm slowly making changes in my own life to change my own health. But because my iron was so depleted due to some of the health issues that I've had, some things can't be fixed overnight, and it takes time to heal and to replenish. Things like iron take a while for your body to replenish the iron back into your body. So I'm getting there, and I'm really enjoying studying and learning all the things to improve my own health. And on the Wise Healer channel, I'm going to be sharing a lot of the stuff that I've been learning. I've had a little break of doing hypnosis and doing theta healing treatments for people, deliverance, stuff like that, because I've been just so busy studying, and I'm never going to finish the course. I've been doing it part-time, so it's been taking me a long time, but this term, actually, this semester, I'm doing full-time, and I have exams over the next 3 weeks, which I wasn't going to start this until June, but I decided to start it a bit earlier because there's really no perfect time, and I keep waiting for that break in busyness in my life because I'm a very busy person, but I'm busy also by choice. I'm busy by choice because everything's a choice in life. So if you find that you're too busy, you can scale back on what you're doing. Everything really is a choice. I guess there's some things that are not a choice. Some things people are forced into doing. But my busyness in my life is really a choice. And it's because I love life, and I have so many things in life that I want to do in my life and study and do, that it's my busyness is self-inflicted. And I know that I take on too many things. It's just because I have so many things that I want to do, but I have to keep reminding myself that I can't do everything all at one time. that I really need to pick and choose what I do for that season or that period of time, because I was doing even more before that I am doing now, and had to kind of like take a step back and be like, okay, I'm doing too much. What can I put aside and put on hold? And what do I kind of want to finish first? And I had a bit of a break from studying naturopathy when I was studying hypnosis and theta healing, entity release, um, and that stuff that I was doing for a couple years. So now I'm having a little break from that and trying to finish my studies in naturopathy while homeschooling my kids, while living on acreage, while my husband works away, so I don't have any family here except for his parents that live an hour and a bit away. So I don't have much help. Like, I'm kind of like a single mom, but I have a husband, but he works away. Like, he's away for a month at the moment. He went away on Monday for a month. So that's how it is. So I am on land here in Australia. I deal with springtime with having lots of poisonous brown snakes, death adders, that sort of thing on our land every spring. Luckily, it's not springtime right now, but yeah, I feel like I've kind of earned my Aussie badge now from living on acreage, dealing with so many poisonous snakes because we get so many here. It's also because we're surrounded, like, I have only one neighbor, and we're surrounded in all these like beautiful rolling hills and farmland, which I love, but because of that, there's more paddocks than that for the snakes to roam. So yeah, it's never a dull moment over here at our place, living on land in Australia. And for some of these chats, I'll sit outside and let you guys see our beautiful property. And if I'm early enough, yeah, I might catch a few kangaroos or some wildlife. It's kind of like a Aussie safari a little bit where we live. We have kangaroos in the morning time in the paddocks around us. If you were from another country and you stayed at our place, it would be, I guess, exciting if you haven't seen kangaroos. But the kangaroos over here are so common that, I mean, I still get excited when I see them, but it's not like, I mean, I still get excited in Canada when I see a deer or some wildlife over there, which are very common over there. So it's kind of like that. But yeah, so I have been very busy the last couple of years, so I haven't been posting very much on the Wise Healer channel. But I have plans to kind of revive the channel and to post more. I've got a bunch of ideas and stuff that I want to share with you guys that I'm going to be putting on the channel. It's just been, like I said, prioritizing my time and what I do there, and homeschooling and raising 3 kids is busy. My kids are getting to that age where I am basically a taxi driver, driving them to all these different activities. So that's kind of a bit much because I'm not the type of person that loves to be part of the rat race. I like being outside of the rat race and doing things differently, living differently. And so I made the choice when my kids were little, to homeschool them because I really didn't enjoy being part of the rat race. I thought, why are we doing this? Why are we being part of this rat race when we don't have to be? And I really didn't like, and I still don't like people saying you have to be here at this time of day at this time when it wasn't necessary. And also, I didn't agree with the way that the schools were disciplining the children and teaching them, and I really just didn't want strangers growing my kids up, raising my kids, and teaching them disciplinary actions that I wasn't doing in my own home or agreeing with, that I thought, well, what is this teaching our kids? And then on the playground, even though there's a teacher walking around at recess, the kids are really unsupervised. And I personally think the whole setup is not done properly. It's not really designed very well. And it was interesting because when we did try our kids in school when they were little for a year, my husband, who is an Army veteran, he came to the school one day for an event that the kids had and was observant of how the school was. And I remember him saying that it reminded him of the Army, that it felt very indoctrinating, and yeah, it kind of reminded him of a little army, the school. And I guess him being in the Army, I guess that's what he kind of saw it as. And I was like, yeah, well, it kind of is in a way. I have found like just so much more freedom in homeschooling my kids, being able to go on holidays, travel, do things that we want to do when we want to do them. And we also that way learn responsibility and how to be responsible for ourselves and what we're doing and what we're learning, and for our own learning, without someone else having to say, you have to do this, or you have to be here at this time. You have to pick your kids up at this time. You have to bring this to school. You have to do that. And I realized that, when they work for an employer and get a job when they're older, if they work for somebody else, that will be the case, and that's fine. But having children do that from an early age, I don't really think it's that necessary. I think if anything, it can burn people out. Like kids, there's so many years that kids are at school for, and by the time they finish high school, then whatever they decide to go on, whether it's work, it's like they've already just basically gone to work from an early age, Monday to Friday. They're just not getting paid for it in a way. And anyway, homeschooling has allowed my children to follow like things that they're interested in, and not have to sit there in a classroom and learn things about like false history and propaganda and things like that and morals and values from other adults that I don't necessarily agree with their values or their opinions or whatnot. So and homeschooling has also allowed me to just spend like so much quality time with my kids. They're getting older now, and it's happy, but it's also sad. It's like, oh, they're growing up, like, and I'm the type of mom that's like, don't ever leave me, stay with me forever. But obviously, I want them to also grow up and just be independent and go off and do their own thing as well. So yeah. But yeah, this past year has been a crazy year. The year before, I was dealing with a lot of emotional things, like issues that I had, things that I needed to work out in my life with different stuff, just emotional stuff. And I was having like a really hard time, not December that just passed, but the December before. And I don't like to get into too much detail. Like, I don't like to I don't open up to other people when I'm suffering, I guess, because I try and just like figure it out myself. But I was in such a bad way, trying to deal with a few emotional things that I had to deal with in my life that I finally opened up to a couple friends like 2 Decembers ago. Anyway, and then I had the most amazing healing session with Laura Whitworth, February 1st, not of this year, but last year. And it completely changed my life. I've had sessions with her before. And this session was different to any other session I've had. And it was so healing. It literally healed parts of these emotional issues that I was having overnight. It healed me, not even overnight. It was instant when I had this healing session with her. It was incredible. It was so powerful, this session I had with her. I have never experienced a session like that. Her ability to heal people from when I first had a session with her, when she first came out with her courses, to now and to a year ago is amazing. Like, her gifts continue to grow in her ability to heal people and in her sessions. It was so incredible, and I'm so thankful that I had that session because it just was a massive game changer for me, and just I saw instant change. It instantly changed me. And I will never forget it, because I was in a bad state before having that session, and it instantly changed me. And a couple years ago I was fine, and then I wasn't fine for a period of time, and then when I say I wasn't fine, I'm fine. I love life. I'm happy. I wasn't like depressed or anything like that, but I had these issues that I had to deal with and that were bringing me down. It's like these issues that were bringing me down, like they were like really holding me down. I mean, I was still studying, I was still getting on with life and that sort of thing. But yeah, that session changed my life. And if you get the chance to have a session with Laura Whitworth, with the Soul Center Healing Hypnosis, I highly recommend it. It was amazing, the session I had with her. Yeah, so anyway, that session with Laura really changed me. It really, really helped a lot. So I'm very thankful for that. I forgot about my cuppa. It's probably getting cold now. It's warm. It's not as hot as it was. I'm having a coffee. I'm being a bad girl. I'm having a coffee today, and I put cinnamon in it. So if you haven't had cinnamon in your coffee, it also is a game changer. It's really nice. I actually saw it on a movie. I forget what movie it is. If any of you guys watching this knows the movie I'm talking about, there's like a scene in it where like the man or the woman's like, I remember what you have in your coffee. It's cinnamon. Or I remember that you have cinnamon in your coffee or something like that. It's like a man talking to a woman or vice versa. And they probably love each other in the movie as well. So I don't know why I remember that in the movie. So I tried a little sprinkle of cinnamon in my coffee and I love it. And it's so good. You should try it if you haven't tried it yet. So I have cinnamon in my coffee. And cinnamon is also one of the herbs that you learn about in herbal medicine. So I'm studying herbal medicine at a university level. It's included in my naturopathy degree, and I absolutely love it. But cinnamon, one of the things cinnamon is really good for is menorrhagia. So for women who have really heavy periods, that's what menorrhagia is. It's good for that, to help with that. So there's your little herbal medicine fun fact for today. So another reason why I've been MIA the past year from my YouTube channel is because I actually had 3 deaths in our family the past year, in less than a year, the past year. And so that's been a lot to deal with. And I haven't had anyone actually really super close to me that has passed away yet in my life. And as most of you know, I live in Australia, but I was born in Canada, and so all my family is still in Canada. My mom, my siblings, my grandmas, my aunts, uncles, cousins, they're all still in Canada. And I've been living in Australia since 2008. And I knew that the time would come at some point where someone close to me would pass away while I'm living here in Australia and being so far away from Canada. And there's really nothing that prepares you for that. And for all 3 of the deaths in our family, there really wasn't any warning for 2 of them. For all 3, really, there wasn't barely any warning for the 3rd one. And the first death in our family in Canada was my nephew, and he passed away, and it was very, very tragic, very unexpected. So that was the first death of someone who's really close to me passing away, and it was very tragic, and actually it is still very, very, very tragic today, because for my sister, I don't think you could ever get over the death of losing a child. He was 23, I believe, just turned 23, I think, or 22, I think 23, about a month and a bit prior to his death. And he just had so much of his life to live still, and it was extremely tragic. It still is, and nothing. There's no words. There's no words that you can say to someone, to a mother who has lost her child. There's just no words. And I still today just feel really sad about it for my sister, for his siblings, his dad's, his dad, his stepdad, his grandparents, for everyone in our family, our side of the family as well. And he was a sweet kid. He really was. And it was just extremely tragic. And being so far away from your family brings a whole nother level of something you have to deal with, because you are away from your family, living in a different country. And Australia is very far away from Canada. When I used to be a flight attendant, I used to say, oh, you're only a flight away, because I used to fly so far away. I fly overseas and back the next day or 2 days later for work. But it is far away, and there's a cost involved with having to go. And there's also, when someone dies and there's no warning to it, and you have stuff going on. My husband works away, like I said, it's hard to just jump on an airplane, and sometimes you can't do that. You can't just jump on an airplane and go overseas. Um, so yeah, I haven't been back to Canada this year with the 3 deaths that have happened. I am planning to go to Canada this year sometime to visit my family. So I'm just in the works of planning that now. So I still haven't seen my sister. I've spoken to her, but I haven't seen her since then. And it's just, yeah, it's just still, I don't think the sadness about my nephew, um, Luca's death will ever really go away. It's just still really, it will, and I think when you do have someone who loses a child, a parent who loses a child, I think that you also need to be very careful of what you say to those people who have lost a child. You have to be really careful of how you word things and really think before you open your mouth about the topic to them, because I think it's really easy to say the wrong thing to someone who has lost a child, and you really have to think before you talk um, when you speak to someone who has lost a child, and be mindful of them and how they would take things that you say. Um, yeah, the second death. So that happened at the end of July last year, and then at the end of September, my dad passed away. Um, and that happened really quickly as well. He was sick with Parkinson's, like he was very sick with Parkinson's disease, but his neurologist put him on this new medication. When I say new, it was new to my dad. It was a different medication, not new to the world, but it was a different medication that he hadn't been on. So he switched his medication, and my dad started hallucinating. He wasn't feeling very well. He was hallucinating. It was almost like he was fighting off demons or entities, and kind of in and out of it. And my dad loves to fish, and he has a boat. And my siblings told me that he had said that would be his last fishing derby that he was in this summer. So he was obviously aware of his health declining. And my siblings took him to the hospital, and my dad can barely talk very well at the time, because when you have Parkinson's and it progresses, it becomes really hard to speak. They can't really speak very well. So anyway, he was in the hospital. He wasn't feeling well. He was hallucinating. He wasn't recognizing people during his hallucinations. My brother tried to get a hold of his neurologist. He wouldn't get back to my brother about the medication. The hospital didn't take my dad off the medication. They kept him on the medication, even though it was causing that. They gave some bullshit story about weaning him off, and I don't agree with that personally. I don't agree with their decision to do that. But anyway, I wasn't there. And it just goes to show that in allopathic medicine, they don't always make the right choices. I don't think that they always have the best care for patients. Like there's a procedure involved, and staff members don't always follow the right procedures of what they should. Anyway, my dad started kind of turning a corner, and supposedly he made a joke with the nurse. But prior to this, when he was kind of hallucinating from his medication, apparently the hospital had to strap him down which I think is just like, it's so horrible. I understand that they have to do it for safety reasons when the patient is like, uh, you know, throwing their fist or trying to fight demons or entities that whatever he was seeing or whatever, waving his arms and things. I was also told by my siblings that he tried to get up and leave the hospital and that he was pulling his IVs out and things, trying to pull his IVs out and things like that. Um, And I think my dad had, maybe he knew that he was going to have to go from the hospital to a nursing home because it was getting too difficult for my brother to continue looking after him at home. And I reckon he didn't want to go to the nursing home. I really don't think he wanted to go. So anyway, I think he had had enough. And then we thought that maybe he was going to turn a corner because he seemed like he was starting to feel a little bit better. And he made a joke with one of the nurses about something. And then I spoke to him. I couldn't understand a word he said to me, but I told him that I loved him and that my kids love him as well. And he mumbled something back at me, but I couldn't understand what he said. And then my sibling, my sister, who lives hours away, and drove up to see him. And then my siblings left the hospital. Excuse me. My siblings left the hospital because they thought that, you know, they were planning to come back in the morning to see him. They didn't expect anything would happen. But then he passed away with no one there by his side. He passed away maybe early morning, I think. We weren't expecting him to pass away. So that was a shock. It was a shock. And actually, the weird thing that happened was that it was nighttime here in Australia, where it would have been very, very early morning in Canada, where I'm from. And I was sitting in this office, actually, sitting here, and I just like had this feeling like that, did my dad die? Like, did he pass away? And I just got that feeling that he did. Like, I didn't know that he did. And I messaged my brother on Facebook Messenger and said, is everything okay with Dad? Should I come? I was like, I said something like, is everything okay with Dad? Like, should I get on the airplane and come to Canada? Like, did he pass away? Or I said, is he going to pass away? Or did he pass away? Or something like that. And then about 20 minutes later, I get a phone call from my siblings. They're all at my brother's house, and I knew that my dad passed away because they're all like on the phone sitting around the table at my brother's house. And I just said, did Dad pass away? And they said yes. And then I was in so much shock. And just, it was just really, really, I was in a lot of shock, and I just started obviously bawling my eyes out straight away. And, the last time that I saw my dad was, March 2023. I went to Canada for a month. And the day that I flew back to Australia, so I was staying in an Airbnb, and my husband was back in Australia, so I was with my 3 kids. I was planning to go for breakfast that morning before I had to go to the airport to catch my flight back to Australia. So I was going to go for breakfast with my dad and my brothers. And I was up till like 1 o'clock in the morning the night before, packing and getting like the Airbnb ready, cleaning it and stuff like that, and packing the car. There was just so much to do, and just with me, one adult, my kids were helping me as much as they could, but then went to bed. And so anyway, and then the next morning I was up early, like I got no sleep, maybe a couple hours sleep, was up early, cleaning, packing, getting everything in the car. It was just chaos. And then, so by the time I left the Airbnb and had everything perfect, like for that, I didn't get a chance to go for breakfast. I didn't have time to go for breakfast before going to the airport. So I stopped in at my dad's place and gave him a hug goodbye. And it was really sad because I knew my dad was ill, and I just thought this could be the last time I ever see my dad again. And my trip to Canada was cut short because of a contract that we were putting on this property that we're at now. I was planning to stay in Canada longer, but I couldn't sign the paperwork to buy this place. They wouldn't let me do it overseas. It would have taken a really long time. They told me I had to be there in person, that I couldn't do DocuSign, which I've done with other properties that we've purchased. So they were going to have to like send all the documents by mail to Canada for me to sign, send them back. And it just wasn't a reasonable time for the sellers to wait for all that to happen. So I flew back early back to Australia, basically to buy this place. And I was planning to go back to Canada for a visit and to spend more time with my dad, but I didn't get that chance. He passed away before I was able to have that chance to spend more time with him. And the last vision I had of my dad was me sitting in the car. So I gave him a hug goodbye inside his place, and then I got in the car to drive to my mom's because I had to return this rental car that I had, and then my mom and stepdad were taking us to the airport in two different vehicles because there was me and the kids, 4 of us, plus all of our luggage. So anyway, I'm sitting in the car and I started bawling my eyes out in the car, and then I see my dad like just looking out the window at me. And I'm just like waving to my dad and blowing him a kiss. And that was the last time I saw my dad, was him looking out the window at me as I had to back the car out of the driveway to drive to the airport. So yeah. Anyway, I found the death of my nephew and the death of my dad a lot to deal with. There was a lot of emotion there that I had to work through. And with my dad, I had a mix of really great memories that weren't great, and then things that I had unresolved issues with my dad. And when he got sick with Parkinson's, I just decided at that moment, like, not to talk to him about any of the unresolved issues I had or the unanswered questions I had for my dad. I decided not to confront him about any of them or anything like that because he was sick. And I thought, like, it doesn't matter. He's sick. So what's important is his health and him living out the rest of his life comfortably. So So yeah, I had some anger, some issues that I unresolved issues, questions that were unanswered, things like that when my dad died that were really like difficult for me to process and deal with at the time. So I found, yeah, that really challenging. And I also had some really wonderful memories as well with my dad. So it was like really a whole mixed bag. And yeah, so that was that. And then I was able to process that stuff and get through it and come out the other end, feeling at peace with my dad's death and that. And then this year, a few weeks ago, my stepdad, he was feeling really sick and not well, and he finally went to the hospital and they did some tests on him and they basically came back. So I think that was probably 1 month ago now, nearly. It feels like it was literally a week ago. Um, so he went and got some tests and they basically came back and told him that he had 1 to 2 weeks to live. So, another thing I was, I'm planning to go to Canada this year, and I was really had in my mind that I'm going to take Chris, my stepdad, out. I want to take him to like a really nice, expensive restaurant and just spoil him and just spend some really good quality time with him because I live in Australia. I don't get to see my family very often, and I know he's getting old and he hasn't been feeling that well. And I thought I really need to, when I visit Canada this year, spend some good quality time. I want to take Chris out and spoil him because I want him to know like how thankful I am for all of his help that he has helped me out in my life. And kind of as a thank you to him, I thought I'm going to take him out. We're going to go to like a nice steak and seafood restaurant or somewhere and take him out on the town and stuff like that. And really show him like my gratitude of everything he's done for me in my life again. And I didn't get the chance to do that because he was told would have like a week or two to live, and he did. It was about the 2 week mark. So it was the Sunday before Mother's Day, May the 4th, actually, that my stepdad passed away. So that was sad as well. I suppose like it's so it's so crazy that I haven't had anyone close to me pass away, and in less than a year I've had 3 people pass away that are close to me pass away. And over the next couple years, I'm sure there'll be a couple others because I have a couple of family members that are really old as well now. So the thing with my stepdad, though, is like it was easier to process his death because I only had really good memories with my stepdad. So I found it easier to kind of deal with his death than I did my dad's death because with my dad's death, I had a whole mixed bag of different emotions and issues to work through. Whereas with my stepdad, I really only had good memories with him. So he was really a great stepdad, like really, really good stepdad. I couldn't really have asked for a better stepdad than he was, really. And I lived with him and my mom when I was a teenager and in my early 20s a little bit. And he has always come to the airport and driven us to the airport. The last time we saw him was he drove my daughter Kiona and my son Caden to the airport. And We went because we went in 2 cars to the airport. That was the last time I saw my dad, and it was the last time I saw Chris, my stepdad, too. I did not think that that would be the last time I saw my stepdad, Chris. Like, I knew it could have been the last time I saw my dad, but I didn't think at all that that would have also been the last day that I saw my stepdad as well. It was the same day. And I'm grateful that my daughter and son got to have a 2-hour car ride with him to the airport and have a nice old chat with their grandpa before flying back to Australia. So I'm grateful for that, and I'm really grateful for everything he's done for me in my life. And he has experienced so much in his life. He's done so much. He went to the Olympics twice for rowing, once in 1960 and once in 1964. And he started the head of the Trent rowing at Trent University in Peterborough in Ontario, and he did so many things. Like, he was part of the ski club with my mom. They'd go skiing. He played hockey up until an old age. And he would sing the Christmas carols at Christmas time with the church. He didn't really attend church, but at Christmas time he would go and sing the Christmas carols with them. He liked to go out and sing karaoke with my mom. Him and my mom sailed every summer. We're on their sailboat, sometimes for weeks at a time. They've traveled together. He's been to Australia, stayed with me in Australia for over a month with my mom one time. He's done so much in his life, and it got me thinking, like, wow, I haven't even done like half the things in my life that my stepdad has done in his, and I just find it inspiring. All the things that he's done in his life, and it's making me think that, like, I got to get out and experience, even though I'm such a busy person anyway. I'm like, wow, it's inspired me to, I guess, want to go out and experience more stuff. So yeah, so that it's been a crazy year. It really has. I've also been studying a lot of naturopathy and dealing with other stuff in life, like everyone has, and such is life, and we all have to deal with things in life on a daily and weekly basis. And really, a lot of it comes down to the choices that we make and the emotional maturity we have on facing different issues and obstacles that we go through in life. Well, my cup is going to be well and truly cold now, I bet ya. Yeah, it's pretty cold. I'm going to drink it anyway, some of it anyway. I'll probably make another one after. But that is kind of what's been going on the past year with me, and why I've been so MIA from this space. But I have lots of plans for the future and what's to come. And so basically, I've been in the planning stages behind the scenes of the planning, of the learning. I've basically been like a herbal apprentice in training, and yeah, I'm working on all these different projects behind the scene. And what will happen is they'll all like come into fruition. They'll just like come full circle and come into fruition at some point in divine timing when their projects are ready and that sort of thing. So it seems like to many people that I'm not doing anything, but I'm actually so busy, and I'm in a creating stage of just creating. And And yeah, at some point, the creating will come to fruition. And I'm excited about that. I'm excited about the fruition part of the creating process. So if you liked this, stick around. I'll be doing some more talks like this and just talking about just stuff in general. And if you can relate to living in a different country and having loved ones pass away, or even just being in the same country as them, and you want to make a comment about your experience for others to see, that would be really great. I just feel like we all go through different things, and sometimes listening to someone else talk about their experiences can be really helpful. And what I'm talking about might not be relevant to everyone, but it might touch someone who's gone through the same thing, or who is struggling, or just needs to hear that they're not the only one going through the same thing, or anyone who hasn't been through that yet, who it might help out in the future, or put different scenarios and things into perspective, or to see things from a different perspective to maybe than from what you look at. And I really think that we're all different with different beliefs. I don't believe that any two people have the same beliefs, exactly the same beliefs on the planet. I feel like we're all different in some way. That you can find friends or family and people that have very similar beliefs to you in a lot of different areas of life, but then you might have a difference of opinion in certain areas. Could be one or two areas, or it could be many. And we all have different knowledge on different topics in life, different experiences. We're all experiencing a completely unique experience here to anyone else. Even the people that we live in the same house as us experience a completely, different experience through their eyes, through their lens of their life. And no two people are the same here, or share exactly 100% the same beliefs on everything. And I think that's okay. I think that it's meant to be that way, because we're meant to learn from each other. And if we were all the same, we really wouldn't have anything to learn from each other if we were all just the same. And life would probably be very boring if we all thought the same and were the same, did the same thing. That would be crazy. That would be a crazy experience. And yeah, so I think we're all meant to be different. So I'm okay with people not thinking the same as me. And all I can do is share who I am. And people can take it or leave it. And that's kind of how I feel about that. And I know in the past, sometimes I have refrained from saying how I feel, or revealing who I am, or different beliefs that I have, and different things like that. But I also think it's a gift for someone to open up and to share their feelings with the world as well, is also a gift. That we don't need to do that. I don't need to share my thoughts and feelings with the world. I can keep them to myself, but I'm choosing to do so. And I think it's a gift when people open up to me and tell me about their feelings and things like that. I think it's a gift for people to open up and do that. Sometimes people tell you how they feel about stuff when you don't want to know, or you don't care. Sometimes you don't want to know what people are thinking or what they have to say as well. But at least in this space, if you click on my video, it's a choice that you've made. And you make the choice of whether you want to listen to my videos and and have a listen. So anyway, I hope you liked episode 1. I have many other topics that I want to talk about as well. So yeah, stay tuned for the next one. Thanks, guys.